Real Deal Sports Talk with me, KP. It's November 9th, 2016. We have a new president-elect. How's everybody doing today? Everybody out there all right? Did you make it through the day? Did you live? Did you get through? All we can do is try, right? That's all we got to do. We'll talk about the election. I'm going to break it down. I got to get political on this show after something like this goes down. It affects everybody. So the Let's Get Real segment at the end of the show today, I will be breaking down exactly my summation of the events that took place that led to Trump becoming the president-elect, and you know what we all might be able to do or can do or now be aware of that is going around in our country a little bit better than we might have been before. But we'll get to that later. This is a sports show. We got sports to talk about. We got Cunningham's picks tonight with Jeremy Cunningham from thedirtcannon.com. He'll be calling in here shortly. We do have an active text line. If you guys do not know the text line number, it is 720-515-5597. That is an active text line during our shows on Wednesday nights at 7, Saturday mornings at 9, and our new show time on Sundays at 9 a.m. also. So 7 p.m. Wednesday and 9 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday. We will have different shows going on. That is a new schedule change for the Sunday show. We were doing Sunday afternoons. We will be moving that to 9 a.m. so we can do a little more of a preview, go into a little more depth on what's going on the games on Sunday. So do look forward to that. That's going to be some good stuff. Do use the text line 720-515-5597. As texts come in, as I see them, we'll respond to them on air, and it'll be good fun. It'll be nice for the listeners to be able to have a say and get their input out there right now. As we don't have a fully operational call line, we do have a text line. So take advantage of that. If you got something you want to say, get it to me, and if it's eligible to be on the air, I will put it out there and we'll talk about it for sure. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, it's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. We had a big election yesterday. Not a lot going on in sports this week. Things have died down now that the World Series is over. But, you know, there's still football news. There's still basketball going on. John Bones Jones has been stripped of his title, light heavyweight title again. And they're talking about he might not headline a fight again. Might not. He's not going to headline a fight again. This man has too many inner demons. He clearly can't handle the pressure, the money, the fame, the success. And it's just dumb. I'm sorry. It's dumb. With that being said, let's move into Cunningham's picks. And we'll welcome in now Jeremy Cunningham from thedirtcannon.com. Hello, Jeremy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, my man. How are you?
Good, good. You know, all things said and done, it's been a tough time recently for all of us, or some of us here with, you know, the election and everything that's going on. People had a little bit of time today to gather themselves, I think, a little bit and kind of, you know, figure stuff out. But another story, another time. We got football to talk about.
For sure.
So, you know, slightly connected to the election, I guess, because Belichick went and wrote his letter to Trump. But we got a game this weekend. Belichick's coaching. Big game this Sunday night. You got Seattle. You got New England. Seattle, you know, they're kind of the rigged team, I guess, if you're looking at it that way. You got the refs making all kind of calls for them. You got balls that the punter grabs and they just kind of sink in. Nobody throws a flag or talks about the deflated balls. You got the Julio Jones incident with Seattle a couple weeks ago, no calls going on. Super Bowl rematch. Who comes out on top on this one?
For sure, my man. Yeah, I mean, you hit on a lot of very good points. I agree. Seattle has gotten away with quite a bit from a referee standpoint this season. And really, I think I heard the last 3 games that they've been on Monday Night Football, they've even had significant calls in those games that impacted one against your Lions last year. And then a couple of years ago with the replacement refs and the Hail Mary, I think they called it or whatever.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. Richard Sherman just, I think he's just a difficult player to referee, but at the end of the day, he obviously had to play before halftime. I think it was dirty. I mean, if you hit a quarterback like that, you're probably getting kicked out of the game.
Right.
And then at the end of the game, while there's some debate with regard to the rule and whether or not you can hit a receiver if the guy's outside the pocket kind of thing, I think that's another subjective call that they just chose not to do anything with.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting. So you got that controversy of Seattle, and then you've got obviously all the controversy that surrounds New England, and it's the Sunday night game. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, to be honest. It's probably the game of the week for sure. Obviously, that's why they picked it for Sunday night coming into the season. So it's certainly something that I look forward to. I think the Patriots are going to dominate this game personally. Seattle's on a short week going across country. Belichick's coming off a bye week, which, usually, I didn't look up the stats this time around, but I want to say he's only lost maybe 3 times coming off of a bye week in the entire time he's been with New England. So,
and I think a couple of those were against Denver.
Yeah, no, I think Manning has got him in all of those. Is what it is. And so, yeah, I just, with Seattle's inability to run the ball, New England doesn't give up a ton of points in the red zone. And I think this game kind of comes down to the tight ends. If Gronk and Bennett get off, as I suspect that they will, Seattle's 28th against tight ends on the season. If they get loose and are able to cause havoc, I think New England will dominate that game. Controversially, if Graham shows up like he did on Monday night, I'm not sure that New England has an answer for him necessarily on defense either. So could be a game of the tight ends, and whoever is a little more productive pulls out the win. I personally have this game New England 31-16.
Okay, I kind of see that. I'm taking New England in this game also, primarily because of their quarterback, Mr. Brady. I see him rising to the occasion of this game. He, coming off the bye week, he respects the opponent. He knows how good the defense is, and he would like nothing more than to show Seattle up, especially with all the talk about the last Super Bowl, that they shouldn't have won. Gronkowski's been balling out. I just see it continue to roll. I see even Edelman getting off a little bit more this week than he has so far, not being so much of a decoy, but maybe even being a target in this game. So, yeah, I'll take New England in this one, but I'm taking it in a close game.
Nice.
So, that's the Sunday night game. We got a game on Sunday of a team that started 5-0. They've now lost 3 straight. I was going to say I originally picked them to lose their 4th straight game, but I'm going to change it right now as we talk about it. I'm going to take Minnesota to actually beat Washington on the back of their defense this weekend.
Yeah, I like it. I think this game is one of the closest games that we'll have this weekend for sure, and looking at all of the different matchups that are out there. I agree. Vikings, they start off hot. It was all around defense and special teams. A lot of people kind of throw that to the wind, but they had a special teams touchdown in 2 of those 5 games. That obviously helped prolong their victory for those guys. So, if Minnesota's defense can get back on track, which I think will struggle. Washington actually leads the league in yards per play. They have very few turnovers. Kirk Cousins doesn't really turn the ball over. So it's kind of a battle of strengths, if you will. Washington's defense isn't one that is going to cause a ton of havoc, but with the way the offensive line play has been for Minnesota, that's obviously been the deal or the reason why they've lost the last 3 weeks. They couldn't hold the line of scrimmage, and so their quarterback's getting blasted and turning the ball over, given short fields constantly, and eventually your defense can't handle that kind of pressure. So if Minnesota's line holds up, I go Minnesota. I don't think that'll be the case. I think Washington does just enough on offense. I've got Washington winning this game 20-16 with a late score by Jordan Reed.
Okay, I could see it going that way. I just got to believe at this point that Zimmer's going to have that defense a little pissed off this week.
I agree.
They have been shown up by some teams that they might not have needed to be shown up by. Don't get me wrong. I love that the Lions were able to pull it out in overtime in dramatic fashion and all.
A little flip in the end.
We'll take it. We got to get ours where we can. But I think Stephon Diggs kind of poses a matchup problem with Josh Norman. He doesn't do well with the smaller, quick receivers, and Diggs had 13 grabs last week. So
they game plan it like Antonio Brown and Pittsburgh did the first week. I agree. Diggs could be a big factor in that game for sure.
Could be something to watch. So again, I'll take Minnesota on the back of their defense. You got Washington pulling this one out with the late score. It'll be a good one. It'll be a good game. I think these two teams right now, like you said, they're pretty evenly matched. Washington, they lead the league in yards per play. So tune in if you got the time.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one goes.
So this next game we're going to talk about, this is the AFC South matchup. I actually picked one of these teams to win the South, shockingly, this year, or at least compete. I don't know. I think I picked the Titans to win the South. But I picked Jacksonville with their young talent to possibly just shock some teams this year. Really, they're just shocking everybody that they can play that bad. They've got Houston leading the division right now. This would be a huge win for Jacksonville. It should be a win for Houston. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take Jacksonville in this game. I'm going to take them big in this game. I'm going 24-13 Jacksonville just because.
Just because. I like the just because. They're due.
Yeah, there you go. They're due.
Yeah, Houston, has really dominated this division over the last couple of seasons. And had Luck not been in this division previously, I think Houston would really own this division of late. Jacksonville, I was with you. I took several of their players, even in fantasy, because they had pretty high expectations for Jacksonville coming into the season, and they just have been pretty horrific, both offensively and then defensively. They've gotten better each week, but they're certainly, with all of the early first-round draft picks that are on that defense, you would think that they would be able to show up a little bit better.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think I've got this game close. I've got Houston winning this game 30-26. I think it's a little bit higher scoring. I think Lamar Miller has a pretty big day against that Jacksonville defense. And another person to keep an eye on for Jacksonville on the opposite side of the ball, Hearns went into concussion protocol. So look for Marquise Lee to have a good underneath game. And if Lee and Robinson can get it going, I'm with you. I could see Jacksonville posing a little bit of problem, especially in the middle of the field for Houston. But Houston's strengths is built around their defense. Their corners have been pretty tight for the season. They haven't given up a ton of big plays. So I think it'll be tough for Jacksonville to score. Jacksonville leads the league in 3 and outs. So if they're not able to sustain drives and get the chains moving, I think this could be a long day and could go the opposite of what you're thinking. And Houston could end up blowing them out pretty big. But again, I got this one. I got Houston 30, Jags 26.
All right, and this is the game of the overpriced free agents. You got Brock Osweiler and Malik Jackson in this one.
For sure.
And for that fact, for Jacksonville, you got Malik Jackson,